So in this video, we're going to give you a lightning tour of grid filters in Adaptable. This is a new module which we introduced in Adaptable 17, released in January 2024, the latest version of our AG grid extension. And as the name implies, they allow you to create filters that run across the entire grid rather than on a column, which, as we'll see later, can also apply. We did used to have a module called queries, and grid filters are fairly similar, but they've also got a few notable advantages. So let's take a look at some of the examples. Let's go full screen. So in this example here, we have created this grid filter here. A grid filter lives in a layout. So each layout can have one grid filter applied, which means that when you switch between layouts, not only can you see different column orders, visibility, etc., but you can have a different grid filter applied. And one of the other things we've done here actually is another new feature that we've added in Adaptable 17, and that is the pinned toolbar. We still have the old toolbars and tabs where you open them and you can have lots, but if you just want to have kind of a smaller screen real estate and just one or two items, then you can pin the toolbar above the grid. Okay, so what do we see here? Well, this is our grid filter, language equals JavaScript, etc., etc. And there's two UI components available to edit and create a grid filter. The first is the expression editor that's always been in Adaptable, and this is what we can use also for alerts and calculated columns and many places. So this is our grid filter, the language is JavaScript, and either GitHub Watches is greater than 67,500 or the GitHub stars is greater than 14,500. So there's our expression editor, and if you've seen previous videos, you'll know that there's lots and lots of functions available for you to be able to write your own very complex expressions either at runtime or design time, and indeed to provide Adaptable with your own expressions, you know, if you want to plug in your analytics library. But one of the nice things we've added in Adaptable 17 as part of Grid Filter is we have a query builder. This is a visual editor also, which allows you through dragging and dropping to create your expressions kind of in a more intuitive way. So, for instance, if I want to add another clause here to say, for instance, or the license, then I select my operator, let's say equals, and now I can see a list of all the values, or I can add my own. So we'll see MIT license, and now when we apply this, there we are. So that's the basic grid filter, and it comes, as I say, with two UI components, the expression editor or the query builder. It's important to note that you can still use the grid filter with column filters. So for instance, there's nothing stopping me adding actually the issue is not very good, let's do in the past, or for instance to say, you know, has wiki equals true. So here I've added two column filters, which are running as well as my grid filter. So if I clear my grid filter, I still have my two column filters, and obviously I can clear those as needed. Another nice thing about the grid filter is that it allows you to do what we might call column comparison. With a column filter, obviously you look at values within the column itself, but with a grid filter, you can compare columns. So if we look at this example here, let's again open it up in the query builder, we can see we have two clauses, but here we're comparing in each columns, we're saying where the closed issues column is greater than the closed PRs column, and where pushed is after updated. Is equal to updated. So essentially this is very useful, you know, if you've got lots of kind of, you know, similar columns and you want to see if one is greater than the other or one is less or whatever. So you can use the grid filter to do column comparisons, and obviously they will work at the same time as your column filters. The other nice feature about a grid filter is that you can save it. So for instance, here's this grid filter I've created. Whenever I want, I can save this as a named query. So let's call this test. And now I've got my grid filter, which is the test, where we've got this kind of column comparison. And then whenever I want, I can close this and then if I go into name queries, I can run it. Or indeed, because that's now a name query, and this is really something we look at in greater detail in another video, I can use that in another place. So for instance, I can do query, test, and obviously that will run. And now I can say, I can add another column, so I can say language is equal to JavaScript. So the named query we created before, we're referring to here, and then we've added another clause, and when I run that, that's what I see. So there we are. That is the grid filter in Adaptable. It will typically sit above your grid. It will work in conjunction with as many column filters as you want. So I can add a column filter here of greater than 100,000, and I get that. And it comes, as we said, with two UI editors, the old expression editor for very powerful expressions, and a query builder where you want to create it in a more kind of user-friendly way. And in fact, as we can see here, the query builder does have some limitations. For instance, it doesn't currently allow you to use named queries. So for the more powerful expressions, you will use the expression editor. For the more basic, probably 99% of expressions, you can use the query builder itself. As always, thank you for watching. If you'd like to learn more about the grid filter in Adaptable or any of our other features, please get in touch. We'll be delighted to provide you with a free, no obligation trial license or give you a personalized demo. Thank you for watching.